Bangladesh, February 7th, 2016. The director of the Bangladesh Central Bank got off the elevator on the 9th floor and headed to the back office of the Accounts and Budgeting Department. This was the most restricted part of the building. He was there to deal with a problem, one that had been plaguing the office the last few days. You see, the printer wasn't working. This was kind of a big deal. It was causing a real disruption. The automated printer, which was hooked up to the bank's software, was supposed to work round the clock, 24/7, printing out the bank's transaction reports in real time. After a great deal of effort, there was success. They were able to restart the printer. And so the backlog of transaction reports started rolling. When they took a closer look, they found 35 suspicious payment orders for what were ridiculously large sums of money, having supposedly been transferred from the Bangladesh bank's own account to various other accounts in other countries. Certainly, no one from their bank had authorized it, and the SWIFT security system in place was unbreachable. As the director sifted through the suspicious transfer requests, the true scale of the situation started dawning on him. The transfers totaled to almost $1 billion, an absurd amount, a significant chunk of the nation's reserves. Where were they going? Who was responsible? It seemed Bangladesh had just lost $1 billion. But how? This happened in February 2016, but what led to this moment actually started 9 months earlier. Philippines, May 2015, over 3,000 kilometers away. A group of men entered the Jupiter Street branch of the RCBC Bank, just outside Manila, and opened 4 bank accounts with just $500 inside. The men then left, never to return, with their accounts left seemingly abandoned. Now, returning to Bangladesh, fast forward, January 2016, a month before the incident, an employee at the Bangladesh bank was checking his mail at work. Now, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. He thought nothing of it. But he went home that night not realizing he had just set in motion events that would soon shock the nation's banking system, if not the world. You see, he had inadvertently clicked on an infected email, one that immediately began installing a malicious program in the central bank's computer systems. This malware would allow intruders to enter the network and gain access to the inner workings of the Bangladesh bank. Hiding in plain sight, these intruders could now spy on workers and study the bank's operational procedures. And that's what they did. It was now just a matter of time. A month later, on a Thursday, as the bank was shutting down for the weekend, which in Muslim-majority countries like Bangladesh tends to be on a Friday and Saturday instead of a Saturday and Sunday, the intruders once again entered the system. But it was for the last time, because this was what it was all leading to. Now, they were in the system, but manipulating international money transfers was a whole nother thing. SWIFT, you may have heard, is a global payment network enabling financial transactions to be sent in a secure and reliable way, using military-grade security designed to be unbreachable. Just to be clear, SWIFT does not facilitate the transfer of actual funds, but rather it sends trusted payment orders between accounts, which the banks then act on. This is the standard in international banking, and this is partly why bank hackers usually focus on stealing the login credentials of individual bank account holders, rather than focusing on the banks themselves. But it wasn't the case here, not for this group. Their target was the institution. Using the bank's legitimate SWIFT credentials that they collected from the malware, they were able to take control of the SWIFT terminals, as if they were legitimate bank employees. Yes, SWIFT itself is safe and secure, but the banks using them first needed to be responsible for their individual cybersecurity on their end. If their security happened to be lacking, as in the case with many developing nations, SWIFT could actually be used against them. And that's what was happening here. 35 phony transfer requests totaling $951 million was by now being sent via SWIFT to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Okay, but why New York? Well, because the Bangladesh bank owns an account there with billions of dollars on deposit, meant for international settlements. The details of the requests sent from Bangladesh were to transfer the funds from New York to various accounts set up across Asia. I'll get to that part soon. Now, with that, they were done. In and out in just hours.